Hard Facts. Hard Facts with Dayo.
Hello, good afternoon to you. Welcome to Hard Facts on 90.3 Nigeria Info and Herringport Hackett. I'm Dayo. It's 15 minutes going past 3 p.m. Our conversation on the show today commences. Many thanks for joining. I hope you had yourselves a fine weekend. Saturday and Sunday, I hope they were pretty restful for you and you were able to catch up on some fun, or maybe just catch up with some old friends or something else you should have done that work doesn't allow, especially something fun and restful, of course. Welcome once again, and I do hope that the start to the working week has been kind to you. Maybe not fair. You probably heard the saying that life is not fair, but I hope it's been kind to you and things are looking up. You're welcome once again. Now, from now till about 7, we'll keep the conversation going on Hard Facts with Dayo, Mondays through Fridays, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. And today is no exception, I suppose. Well, unless something unusual happens, which I do not anticipate will happen. But then again, you never know. These things do happen, I suppose. So let's see. On the show today, a few matters we are going to be addressing. Starting with the traditional side comments, random stories and random thoughts of yours on those random stories, which will not be discussed now, of course. Or random thoughts of mine, rather, not yours. Random thoughts of mine on those random stories, not to be discussed now until later on during the open season segment. Tell you about that in a bit. And then I've got a round coming up, something in my mind. I'll express some thoughts in it, and you're welcome to express your thoughts and mine till 4 p.m. At 4, we've got the business news coming up, and after that, it's your lucky chance. Your lucky chance to be a voter. A Nigerian voter. Yes, indeed, you are very much in luck because an opportunity has opened up for you, especially if you've not been registered to vote before. Some of you, or maybe you in particular, very much above the voting age, but for some reason you've never bothered to register all of these years. Well, guess what? You are in luck. Also, if you recently turned 18, you know, because you have to be 18, well, guess what? You're also in luck. Congratulations, because INEC says you can now register physically as a voter in the country. Congratulations. Congratulations. I'm sure that, that there are millions of Nigerians on hearing this piece of information who are ecstatic, who are overfilled with joy. And there's a carnival taking place in many streets across the Federation, even here in Rivers State, where Nigerians woke up to find out that they have a chance to be registered as voters. Isn't that just incredible, really? Anyways, this was on the news earlier on, I believe. Oh, that story's here somewhere. Excitement everywhere. Excitement everywhere. Everyone's excited about this piece of information, really. The physical registration of voters will begin today. National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voter Education at INEC, Festus Okoye, said the continuous voter registration will take place over a period of 1 year. Now, the INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner in Rivers State, Obo Fanga, told Nigeria Info in June that Nigerians who are 18 and older are qualified to register. Let's hear once again what Obo Fanga did say about this development. I think that was just last month, I suppose. Yeah, just last month. Here we are.
For those who have not registered before but are qualified to register, those who are 18 and above, Nigerian citizens, they should come and register if they've never registered before. And for people who need to make changes to their registration, they can come to us physically, but they can do that completely online without coming to us physically.
Okay, well, there was an online, registration as well. How did that work? Did it even comment at all? Well, every matter related to registration and the joy that is filling the hearts of millions of Nigerians, finding out they can now become registered voters. We'll be discussing that in the 4 o'clock hour. Yep, in the 4 o'clock hour. My guest, of course, INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner in Rivers State, Obo Fanga, joins me for that discussion. After the business news. Taking us till 5. At 5, we've got the news update coming up. And the DSS is not based on logistics. No, they're not. Apparently, or supposedly. And when I was thinking this up earlier today, I remember that that guy who won some reality show. I think it was BBN. He was the one that popularized the saying based on logistics. I was trying to remember who the person is. Can someone help me out, please? The guy who, I think he won the BBN show, and or maybe he didn't win, I don't quite remember. But someone I think who featured on that show popularized the saying based on logistics. Oh, thank you very much. I've got comments via WhatsApp. Efe. Oh, yes, that's the name. Efe. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, Efe, he won it. Oh, great. Oh, okay, fantastic. So, well, if it was based on logistics, the DSS, however, is not based on logistics. If reports reaching us are anything to go by. Well, here's the story. Cuts a Vanguard newspaper. DSS fails to produce Nnamdi Kanu in court for trial. And the DSS on Monday failed to produce the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, before the Federal High Court in Abuja for continuation of his trial. When the case was called up around 11:09 a.m., government lawyer MB Abubakar blamed Kanu's absence in court on what he termed as, quote, logistical problems. Yep, logistical problems. I'm sure if he didn't have logistical problems. So I wonder if he did not have logistical problems and he won that show based on logistics, how come the DSS has got logistical problems and they're not working based on logistics? Remarkable stuff. But how does this impact the trial? We'll discuss that later on. But back to the story. Abubakar, while acknowledging that the matter was slated for hearing, told the court that he was ready to proceed in Kanu's absence, adding that he has 3 witnesses ready to testify. The prosecution, however, sought the court's direction on whether the matter could go on, considering that the High Court has commenced its annual vacation. He argued that it would be impossible to proceed with the case in the absence of a fiat from the Chief Judge of the High Court. Now, trial Justice Bintan Yaka noted that the case should not go on in the absence of the defendant. She said, and I quote, "I am also worried why the defendant is not here. The first step is in a criminal matter is to provide the defendant in court. He is not here." Now, the judge ordered that Kanu must be produced before the court on October 21, which is the next adjourned date for the matter, and also directed the DSS to grant Kanu access to his lawyers. So, we'll be discussing that in the 5 o'clock hour. My guest, Associate Professor of Public Law at the Rivers State University, Barrister Richard Wokocha, joins me for that. How does the DSS's lack of logistics impact the trial? All right, after the news update, headlines 5:30 p.m., major news at 6 p.m., and open season comes up after that till about 7 when we wrap up discussions on the show today. So traditionally, we get things going with today's side comments, random stories, and random thoughts that I came across earlier on today as I checked out. It is now economic activities and vehicular movement were grounded today after some Eleme Ogoni youths blocked parts of Eleme and Apajo Lilim roads to protest the bad state of the Eleme axis of the east-west road. Our correspondent reports that the protest started around 2 a.m. as some of the protesters spoke to our correspondent. Let's hear what these protesters had to say about the grouse.
Our forefathers are angry. Everybody is angry. Even the non-indigenous are angry because of the poor reputation of this road and what this road has been costing us, the arms and everything the road has been costing us. Everybody is angry based on what they are seeing on this road.
It takes us 6-8 hours to leave Eleme to other part of River State, knowing what Eleme means to them. The fertilizer company, the Idorama, the Port Authority, the PPMC, the NNPC on Eleme land. They generate a lot of money, a lot of income, but they refuse to give attention to the road that leads to Eleme.
We are here for federal government. We don't want to hear about Akpabio. Akpabio is trying to make money about this road. We want Buhari to send Julius Berger with immediate effect. No any other company apart from Julius Berger to come and fix this road.
I'm sure the directors at Julius Berger are very excited right now. Congratulations to them. However, come on, when forefathers are angry about something, we've got to attend to it. Did you hear the first part?
Our forefathers are angry.
Absolutely. And when forefathers get angry, you have to fix it. I mean, if everybody else were angry, we can ignore it. If people even die, maybe we can still ignore it. But once the forefathers get angry about it, come on, we have to fix it. So here's a clarion call to the federal government. Federal government, be notified. The forefathers are officially angry. You have been warned. Please fix the LMA Akpajo Ililin roads. They say they're in a very bad state. Federal government's making tons of money from that part of the state. It only makes sense that the road at least has to be in a good condition. And once again, even if we can ignore everything else, the forefathers are angry. You have been warned. Now, a farmer in Rivers State, Kingsley Ogu, says the state government has not done enough to encourage farming and ensure food security in the state. Speaking with our correspondent, Mr. Ogu commended the government for the establishment of the cassava processing plant and said ordinary farmers were not considered in the distribution of the improved cassava stem by government. Now, he also suggested steps the government should take to ensure that farmers benefit from the establishment of the farm. Let's hear what Mr. Ogu had to say about his concerns, and let's see if the forefathers are concerned about this development as well, or not.
Farmers can benefit massively from it, small farmers. So what the government needed to do is to encourage farmers to go into cassava farming, give them soft loans to enable them also more product and then deliver to the processing plant. Mobilize the 23 LGA chairman to encourage people. It's about trying to educate the people to know the benefits in it. Not everybody is aware of it. The LGA 23 LGA chairman, if they are able to reach local farmers to specialize in that, I'm sure that by next season, where the River State will have not only markets to sell their products, but we also have enough money to stand independently and even having small processing plants for themselves.
Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. The forefathers are not angry about this one. But it's still a very important matter that has to be looked into. However, I must say this. First, no doubt there is a lot that can still be done in the area of agriculture in Rivers State, and I hope that the Ministry of Agriculture is looking into that, and the state government also considers this a priority. However, a lot has been done already as well, especially with the cassava processing plant. I remember some time ago I had Ruben Jason, that co in the studio. He's with the Rivers. Is it the GM or the MD? I think is it the MD? Don't remember his title right now, but he's with the Rivers Cassava Processing Company. Yeah, he's the one managing that place. I had him in the studio here, and was I believe the GM External Relations for SPDC as well. And we talked extensively. That was on Canvas and Adedayo Elusakin, but one of the editions, of course. And we talked about it, and there was a lot of enlightenment about what the plan is, about how it doesn't matter whether you're a big cassava farmer or you're a small cassava farmer, the immense opportunities for every cassava farmer in Rivers State, and how that the cassava processing, Rivers Cassava Processing Company actually plans to mop up cassavas. They even have a strategy in place where they could come to your farm to even take the cassava there. So you don't have to bother about logistics. You know, they've even raised it higher than the DSS. The DSS is bordering with logistics. The Rivers Cassava Processing Company has taken care of that for you. Even they have a handle on logistics. You know, to come to your farm or come to some agreed location to mop up the cassava. What I find quite interesting, however, is I remember on the day we had that conversation, there were some persons who expressed concern about that. I don't understand what the concern is, you know, talking about whether cassava or price of gari might increase. But I do know for a fact, once again, that plans have been put in place to encourage farmers to mop up their cassavas, so you automatically have a market for it. Maybe there should be some more enlightenment, especially at the grassroots level, on the potentials and possibilities here. I'll give it to Mr. Ogu. Maybe that needs to be worked on at local government level and maybe even at ward level, definitely. But no doubt a lot has been done by the Rivers State government and its partners as far as the Rivers Cassava Processing Company is concerned. So I hope farmers of cassava, farmers generally in the state, will take advantage of this no doubt laudable initiative and this incredible opportunity as well. Yeah. So let's see. Anything else catch my attention on the news today? Not sure very much really. I think I may have to move on right now. But let's see. Okay, this was a conversation I hope I'll be having in the coming days. Something about the unemployment crisis in the country. Hopefully sometime this week we'll discuss that in some detail. So I'll leave that to learn for now. So that's it on today's side comment. I go for a break, and when I return, the right into today's rounds. Do please stay tuned. Hard Facts returns in a bit.
Information is a two-way thing. Nigeria Info, it's your turn. Let's talk. Information is a two-way thing. Nigeria Info, it's your turn. Let's talk.
And now, Hard Facts. Hard Facts with Dio.
Welcome back. It is Hard Facts 91.3 Nigeria Info here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dio. I'd like to rant for just a bit. There's something in my mind. I've expressed some thoughts on it, and you're welcome to express your thoughts and mind all the way till 4 p.m. And just in case you're wondering, today's rant is centered on the subject matter of security or insecurity, depending on your perspective, in the country, Nigeria specifically. And yes, I know there are concerns about glamorizing the activities of kidnappers or insurrection fellows or terrorists or something like that. But the fact of the matter is that we do have issues that we're dealing with. And we must talk about these issues. We must discuss these issues, because the issues that Nigerians are facing are real. They are very real issues. They are not the subject of someone's or the object of someone's imagination. No, they are not cooked up. Someone did not have a daydream and perceive that this might be going on. These are the harsh realities that Nigerians have to deal with every single day. And the fact of the matter is, without attempting to glamorize the activities of these criminal elements, it is getting worse. How do you know that a security situation is getting worse? How do you know that the activities of bandits is getting worse? How do you know that the activities or the nefarious clandestine activities of kidnappers is getting worse? How do you know? How do you know? Well, I have an answer. This is how you know. A story here in the Daily Trust: kidnappers in FCT begin collection of ransom through banks. Now that's how you know. I mean, that's a very good idea that things are getting bad. And you don't need to have been sponsored by anybody, Hezbollah or ISIS, let alone the opposition. You don't need to be attempting to glamorize anything to know that things are getting worse, if not even worse. When you have headlines of this nature, once again, from the Daily Trust: kidnappers in FCT begin collection of ransom through banks. Banks. Well, here's the story. Let's get right to it. Kidnappers operating in the FCT are becoming more daring by the day, as they have started collecting ransom from their victims via bank accounts contrary to their usual style of receiving cash. That's from Daily Trust reports. You know how it is now. I mean, the CBN is trying to encourage a cashless policy, and you know how it can be. You know how it can be to be carrying 10 million or 30 million or 50 million around. It's not convenient, so it's better you just do a transfer. You know. Now, last week alone, Daily Trust reported 2 kidnap operations by armed men on Tungan Maja community in the outskirts of the city. The marauders returned to the community on Wednesday after they had abducted 6 persons from the area a day earlier. So they kidnapped, today, then they just wake up tomorrow again and say, I'm not kidnapping enough. What do you think? Do we need more? Okay, let's go back there. And then they go back to the same area and they just kidnap more. It's like waking up in the morning and saying, let's go catch some fish. And then you catch some fish, and sometime later in the day, you say, no, we haven't caught enough yet. Let's go catch some more. Now, back to the story. Other FCT suburbs such as Kuje, Buari and Abaji have experienced staggered spikes in incidences in the last few months, while such kidnappers usually release their victims after collecting cash payments. A new trend suggests that they are devising new means of getting the ransom. In April, a former deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Kingsley Moghalu, alleged that terrorists and kidnappers had started making ransom demands in cryptocurrencies. Now, though he was not specific of which particular groups or the criminals resort to such method, the ex-central banker said the new trend called for more regulation and government attention on the cryptocurrency market around the world. Now, some Nigerians have complained of how banks make it difficult to retrieve information about criminals who defraud unsuspecting members of the public using bank accounts. Hamisu Ibrahim, an Abuja resident, recalled how bureaucracies in the bank made him lose money to a criminal group after he was made to make payments. Now, kidnappers on Wednesday, June 16, picked up their victims, Mrs. Aminat Adewoye and 4 others at Madala Junction when going on shopping at the popular Ibrahim Babangida market in Suleja, Niger State. Daily Trust reliably gathered that the victims' relatives paid ransom money ranging between 500,000 naira and 1 million naira to a designated bank account provided by the kidnappers before they secured their freedom. A brother of Mrs. Adewoye, who did not want his name in print, said while negotiating with the criminals, initially demanded 5 million naira from each of their victims. The kidnappers later agreed to collect 500,000 naira from Adewoye's relatives after 2 days and much pleas. The negotiator said the criminals threatened to slaughter the woman if the ransom was not paid within 48 hours and insisted that they preferred collecting the ransom via bank than the usual cash. This is how you know things are getting worse, when kidnappers want to implement cashless policy also. When kidnappers want to abide by CBN regulations, that's when you know something is horribly wrong. I mean, it was wrong before, but when kidnappers are now want to conform to banking standards, to financial regulations, that's a sign something is not right. Now, the ransom payment slip, a copy of which was obtained by Daily Trust, showed that Adewoye's husband paid 500,000 naira to a particular bank account, which number blah 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 blah, and the name Badawi Abba Enterprise apparently was attached to that account. This is how you know that things are getting terribly bad. Now, I think about it, how could this have happened? One thing definitely stands out, and that is that security agencies or state agencies do not liaise with people who have had their family members kidnapped. It's more or less that the people are on their own to do whatever they want, however they want, in securing the release of their loved ones. As happened even with the students. Remember the students who were rescued or who were released or something of that nature today? Remember them? What's the name of that school again? Just a moment. Kidnapped students. Yeah, exactly. Remember them? I think 28 of them or thereabouts. 28 kidnapped students released. Remember them? Now, I saw a video of when they were reunited with their loved ones, parents and family members and the rest. I don't know if you saw it. I'm talking about students of Bethel Baptist High School in Kaduna State that were kidnapped on July 5. 121 students reportedly were kidnapped in that incident. 28 of them have been reunited with their loved ones. Reports have it that I think some ransom payment was made. But the thing is, at that moment when they were being reunited with their families, you didn't find any state official there. You didn't find any government official there, any agency of government represented there. And to the best of my knowledge, there's been no address by any state official, by any government agency on this situation either. It's quite alarming, and that explains to me also why kidnappers can ask people to make deposits in a bank account. Now that's how you know that things are getting worse. And this is the harsh realities that Nigerians are having to deal with every single day. The feeling that they are on their own. The feeling that government or government agencies may not be there to help them through that situation, to resolve that situation, to rescue their loved ones unconditionally. This is the most embarrassing situation indeed. And if the trend continues this way, it will not be long before a kidnapper will tell a family of a kidnapped victim to buy a bank draft. Very soon they may start requesting for bank drafts. I don't know if those are still in use anyway. Bank, or they might even say, just write a check to, you know, get the name right. So soon as I will get to the bank now to go and cash the check, they will tell me that one letter is not right there. If one letter is missing, we know what we'll do. You know what we'll do. So write a check. Tell them that right there that I will use international passports as ID card or driver's license. It may not be long. Open the check. Make it an open check. Make it payable to Mr. It may not be long before that happens. If they're receiving bank deposits already, it may not be long before they begin to ask for bank drafts or even checks. It's a terrible situation. Something has to be done about it. Sometimes it's even hard saying what can or should be done about it, because these are things that shouldn't even have happened in the first place. Something like this should not happen in the first place, that a kidnapper or kidnappers are now giving bank account details. And like I said, if we don't address this before long, they will start asking for bank drafts and checks, asking to make it payable to Mr. ABC, and make sure that you're right there. It's an open check that I will use driver's license to clear the check. A reminder to government, basically, the protection of lives and property is a fundamental responsibility of government. Please do your job. On that note, I end my rant. Thanks for listening to Badin Boy. Let's get your signal. Lines are open 0817 923 0002 or 0003. That's 0817 923 0007 as well. We are live on facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. Also check us out on our YouTube. Search for Nigeria Info PH. WhatsApp is on 0809 030 6416. Keep it brief and straight to the point, please. And once a call is answered, do turn down the volume of your radio set. It's very important that you do so, else we cannot have ourselves a conversation. Daniel from Urumbu on the line, you're welcome. Please go on.
Good afternoon.
Go ahead.
I can confidently tell you that the security agencies, they benefit from this thing that is happening, from kidnapping. Because they'll tell the victim that, look, if you want your people to be rescued fast, just give them money. And sometimes you assist in paying the kidnappers. In that way, they'll get some amount of money to their pocket. It's true.
All right, Daniel. Uche from Polo High, go ahead.
Yeah, Daniel, good evening.
Yeah.
Well, the truth remains that these people in government think we are fool. We are that stupid. In this year 2022, we are, you know what stress we went through to register, link our name with our phones, despite the COVID-19 issue. So with this latest development, I want all the network providers to give us the number of people who have linked their name in the northern part of this country, because we are being fooled. So how can last time the year that were released said that the people that adopted and gave the number, they are coming to ask their hand in marriage, and nobody was arrested. Now it's directly to the bank, and our numbers were linked to me to track all these things. And police came out to say they don't have facilities to track these people. Are we that stupid in this country? Let all the network providers give us the names, the number of Nigerians that have linked their names.
It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder what the point of the whole linkage was. If you say you can't track the numbers.
Yes.
Oh my! Which are great to hear from you though. Via Facebook. Is it promised or is it because someone says tell them? Most of them don't know the implications of these on foreign investment. Most of the investors who want to invest in this country will be distracted looking at these kinds of news coming from the country. The media wants to generate traffic to their stations without considering the implications of this news on the country. Oh, that's interesting. Francis Collectors goes, this is the best you can get from a failed government. And Ike Precious on Facebook goes, the reason these criminals are not being traced or taken seriously is simple. They are not #NSAS protesters whose accounts need to be frozen. Once our government doesn't see you as a threat to their rule, you are free to carry on. But once you are demanding for good governance, you are automatically a national threat. And the situation by default becomes a threat to our sovereignty and could damage our territorial integrity. Ipso facto, your account has to be frozen with a directive from the CBN. I've got Shadrach on the line from Burukuri. You're welcome. Please go on.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I want to find out if radio info is Kaduna, Zampara.
I've got Okiri from Rumimasi. Okiri, you're welcome. Please go ahead.
Good day, distinguished time.
Go ahead, please.
I think I'm even beginning to be afraid. To the extent the people who go to deliver this money, if the ones that money must exchange, and sometimes they are even being free, to the extent of them complaining that the money is not even enough, or for those that go to deliver money to wait for them to finish counting the money before they will leave. And it's all just becoming unbecoming. And at this point in time, you look at if our DSS are not being proactive again. It's unfortunate too. They should stop dancing some unnecessary body language. It's not helping us in this matter. That is my take. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see. Via WhatsApp. Emmanuel Uzadima from Malaysia goes, that's how we do it here. Good afternoon. Our government is only good at providing brand new buses and sewing uniforms to bring them back. It's terrible. Very soon, kidnappers will ask their victims to make sure the police are the ones to make the cash drop at their choice location. Security is absolutely a mess in this country, and it's a result of extremely poor leadership. That's from Ade. The kidnappers are gradually becoming a corporate entity, right? God forbid we start having kidnapping firms, because government will never wake up to its responsibility. Can someone tell the FG that toying with security matters is playing with fire? If they have no idea what to do, I think they should just get out of office. I'm beginning to be persuaded that some foreigners, in conjunction with some kinsmen in the country, are beginning to take this kidnapping stuff into some franchise level. That's some Ima Gold. Chris joins from Artillery. Hello, Chris. Go ahead.
Yo, good afternoon. Let me not tell you, our government, when they want to create jobs, they use their citizens. That NI is just to create jobs, to settle their political friends, associates.
What
not
job?
that NI is going to bring out anything. You know me? I don't even understand where they are leading this country. Even me, even people that didn't even pass secondary school, they know what this government is all about doing. Let them continue. They use that to create a job for their girlfriend and their boyfriend, them associates. Look at how much now to get that need. See how much the boys are making. The associates are making. They just using their citizens to create the job opportunity for people. People are rushing to go and shoot to. So I told them, if you are doing any NI, that will concern you. Then keep on postponing.
Chris, you have to go register for your national identification number.
No. Until the family of important personality in this country register, that's when I will do my own.
How do you know that members of or important persons in the country have not registered?
Yeah, Tayo, I am a realist. Just like example now, if you can't detect where I am right now, if they don't have any gadget that can detect where I am right now, what is the need of? Where is Shakal? Nobody can defeat himself. There is truth. Shakal is dead. They don't tell us so Shakal is dead. Everybody, we don't be all of us. We don't agree. Shakal is dead. Do you know if they replace him?
Replace him with who? Chris,
nothing, just like that.
Chris, go and register. Go and register. Great to hear from me. Temple Daniel on Facebook goes from Calabar, Cross River State. Good afternoon. Nigeria's justice system will move it. The storyline doesn't ever end. The more our leaders speak, the more they show us that they can't handle this country, and yet they can't see it. Back to WhatsApp. Hey, the manner with which government officials discount these events as some pockets of unrest is worrisome. A friend's brother was kidnapped. He reached out to some persons in the military to get help. The kidnappers called afterwards and warned him that if he continues to call third parties for help, they will kill his brother. The rot is beyond their control, and they won't admit. That, for me, is the main reason they can't resolve this issue of kidnapping, denials, and nonchalance. That's from Deji. Diet was a big problem in this country, and the federal government is pretending as if things are getting better. Not too long ago, federal government was making efforts to stop the media from reporting the cases of banditry and kidnapping in the country. Instead of that, they are finding a way to stop them. The federal government wants to silence everyone. Mike from New Road in Port Harcourt. I've got Echo from LMA. You're welcome. Please go on.
Dayo, good evening.
Go ahead.
If money is mistakenly paid into your account, the bank has a way of tracking you so that the money will return if you don't want to return it willingly. That money is paid to kidnappers, and they withdraw that money without the bank being able to trace these persons is a great cause of concern. Truth be told, the government and the security agencies are not doing well in terms of ending this kidnapping and the menace we are having. But what about the private organization like bank? That money, such amount of money will be paid into the bank, and bank will not be able to fish out these people. It's a very big problem. We are in a very big problem.
It's a big problem, but how do you think the bank should have handled this? I mean, if someone pays money into an account and you decide to transfer it or withdraw it someplace, the bank can't stop you from withdrawing your money in quotes now.
God bless you. 3 years ago, we were requested to do a BVN. And with that BVN, bank can use it to trace you anywhere you are. So what stopped the bank from tracing these persons that received the money?
Well, I mean,
they can't do it. So why is it so difficult for them to do it?
Investigations might be ongoing, you know.
And it can be. It's not something that is not possible. It's possible. It can be done, and they can trace this person. So what stopped them from doing up to today that is being discussed on the We are in a very big problem in this country.
On Facebook, Namdi Anyanwu goes, is this a total colossal failure in the aspect of our government? What was the reason we have BVN and now NIN? I don't get it at all. Is this the reason why Chino Achebe wrote things fall apart? And Namdi Anyanwu says, listening from France. Good to hear from you. Wisdom goes, afternoon. After now, it's business as usual. They know what they're doing. God is watching. That's from Wisdom AK on Facebook. Yeah. Why? What's up? When will they start collecting their ransom from the banks? When the bandits and Gumi have been making calls demanding money, motorcycles and food items that the security forces never trace nor apprehend anyone. Welcome to the failed state. Uchenwachuku from Goba said that. We also know insecurity has gone terrible when bandits bring in armored cars from outside the country and are able to push it through Nigerian borders. I think I'll take a final call. Ernest from Rumasi, welcome. Please go on.
Thank you. I think you can see how our leaders have failed us. Now, kidnappers are not using bank accounts. I thought before they said this cryptocurrency was the problem. Now that they are not using bank accounts, they can't close the bank. They can't go after the people through their BVM. I think they said they were doing what they call it, national ID card linking to SIM card because of. So up till now, the phone number those kidnappers are using to call, they can't trace it. So our leaders are not just serious. And another truth is that this thing has become a business in this country, Dayo. Because for them to have gotten that confidence to be using the bank, Dayo, this thing is a big business. There is prominent men that are behind, politicians. So they're using every means now to make money. And it's a terrible thing because everybody is in danger.
Absolutely.
That's just the truth.
Absolutely.
Thank
you. You're welcome, Ernest. And that's the plain truth, really. I mean, whether or not there are people, in top government positions, or whether or not there are members of security agencies involved in this dastardly act, the plain simple fact is that everyone is in danger. Even assuming that the caller or the persons who hold such views are correct, there are security agents who are involved or people in government who are involved. Even if they're involved, they're not safe also. The family members are not safe because a factional, another kidnapping group could just kidnap their own loved one, or their own family member someday, or who knows, even themselves. It could happen, but it's a terrible thing, because once again, you would think that a development like this should not even happen at all. It should never have happened. I'm sure right now that the CBN and everybody else is running helter-skelter, the DSS, the NIA, everybody's running all over the place, asking themselves, how did this happen? How could this have happened? But that's the thing. It should never have happened in the first place. Now, back to the Daily Trust story as I wrap up this segment. When contacted, officials at CBN did not formally respond to inquiries. However, a management source at the CBN said, quote, what the deposit money banks can do is to block or put a debit restriction on an account if requested by the account owner or on the instruction of the Nigerian police or the EFCC, backed by a court order. It's an unfortunate situation, and once again, something like this should never have happened in the first place. So, in the telephone interview, financial crimes expert, former staff of the EFCC, Umar Yakubu, said a situation where kidnappers are not tracked down after collecting ransom through financial institutions shows that detection of the criminals is now a political choice. It's horrific indeed. And I do very much hope that the security agencies are going to do something about this as quickly as possible to ensure that we don't get to a point where kidnappers call the families of kidnapped victims to ask them to write a check. Just write the check. Which bank are you using? No, I don't want that bank. This is the bank I prefer. And this bank is closer to my house. I don't want to take transport. This one is closer. If you don't have this one, go and open an account there. Go and open an account. This is the bank we want. So write it. This is the name. Write it well, or don't misspell the name. And tell them I'm going to use. Write it there. I'm going to use driver's license to collect it. Which, by the way, Friday is convenient for me. It's only Fridays I like going to bank. Let's say I should be there around. Let me see. I have to drop off children at school first. Okay, I should be there around 9 a.m. So make sure you write it very well. Don't make mistake. I hope we don't get to that point. All right, we got business news coming up top of the hour at 4 p.m. After which we delve into some other matter, and that's INEC resident elect. No, that's not it. INEC commences physical registration of voters. How do you feel about this development, and how is that going to work out? Oboy Fanga, resident electoral commissioner for INEC in Rivers State, joins me for that conversation. Do please stay with us.